Okay, so let's start now. So today we'll discuss mostly jointly distributed random variables. In short, we can say joint probability distribution. Joint probability distribution. Okay. And if the time permits, then we will see these functions of random variables as well. So joint probability distribution. So let us see what is meaning of this joint. So I should give a little example type situation here. So just consider this. So suppose here if I consider height, either weight, so I will have this matrix. Okay, so you can see that you get some numbers here. So if these are probabilities, suppose this height is h1 and weight is w1, h2, w2, h3, w3, and let us take h4. So let us concentrate here only this part. So if I know the probability that if a height is h1 and weight is w1, so maybe I may get some number here. Okay, these numbers. Okay, so I will have this matrix. So this matrix, when these numbers are probabilities such that total of all these number is equal to 1. Okay, then this is joint probability distribution of two random variables, say x and y. Y is weight of and height, x is height. Okay, so the condition of this matrix is that sum of all this number is equal to 1, and they are all almost, of course, they are greater than or equal to 0. Okay, these are two conditions for probability mass function or probability density function. Okay, so numbers are greater than or equal to 0 and total are equal to 1. So if we know this table, then how to find probability distribution of x, how to find probability distribution of y, that we will see here. So we know joint probability distribution. From joint probability, we will extract probability distribution of x, probability distribution of y, because ultimately we need this distribution of x individually. Similarly, distribution of y individually. Okay, so that is the idea. So first let us see these some definitions, and so these are the things that we are going to do here: joint probability distributions. Then from this joint we will find marginal probability distribution. This marginal means if a joint is suppose it is distribution of x and y, then from this finding distribution of x and finding distribution of y are called marginal probability. So marginal probability distribution of x, marginal probability distribution of y. And then as usual, conditional probability. So conditional is same. for example, finding the probability of x is equal to say xi subject to y is equal to say yj type probability we will see. And then independence and covariance. So when the two random variables x and y will be independent, and what is the dependency value? Okay, covariance gives the value of their dependence. Okay, so these things we are going to see. So let us see first joint probability distribution, and all these things we will do for both discrete and continuous random variables. Okay, so we have one example for discrete, one example for continuous in each section. Okay, so joint probability distribution. So these are the two conditions, as I said earlier, that Pij. Now Pij is what value? This is x is equal to xi and y is equal to yj. Okay. So for example, in that table we have h1 w1, h2 w2, h1 w2 like this. These are the values. And total sum is equal to 1. Sum of all the numbers in the matrix is equal to 1. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then we say that this is joint probability mass function, because these are discrete random variables. So it will be very clear if you see this example here. It is here given. For example, this x is some service time 1, 2, 3, 4 in hours, and y, you can see that this total is equal to 1. Okay, all these are probability. So if there is a 1 air conditioner and it took 1 hour of time, the probability is 0.12. So this probability is to maintain 1 air conditioner in 1 hour of time. The probability is 0.12. This is the meaning of this number. Similarly, 2 hours in 1 air conditioner. Okay, so probability of maintaining 1 air conditioner in 2 hours of time is probability is 0.08. So it is this. So you see this problem, okay, little later. So in discrete, each individual number is greater than or equal to 0 and total is equal to 1. And of course, for continuous, and in case of continuous, it is called joint probability density function. And again, this is a function fxy whose value for any x and y is greater than or equal to 0, and the integral of this is equal to 1. Now we will have double integral because there are two variables. And then in case of continuity or continuous random variables, the probability that x lies between a and b, that is x lies between a and b and y lies between c and d. Okay, so this will be given by double integral a to b, c to d, fxy dy dx. So you just see this sequence dy first, because we can like do like this. So we first integrate with respect to y, take the limits, and then we integrate with respect to x and then take the limits. And then cumulative. So cumulative distribution. So this is the meaning fxy. So in case of discrete, okay, if you see this figure, so remember that this capital F means cumulative distribution function and small f means probability density function. Okay. So if you see this, now suppose if I want F, say H2 W1. So in this case, what you have to do, H2. So X is less than or equal to H2. So this is the line. And then W1. So this will be sum of these two numbers. Similarly, if you want to find F, say W3H3, or rather H3 W3, then you can see that in this case, this part will be added. So because all these numbers are this. So like this, we can find cumulative distribution function. So this is if xi is less than or equal to x and yj is less than, and add them. Similarly, in case of continuous random variable, if you want to find the value at xy, then upper limits will be x and y for both. So for w, it is minus infinity to x, because w is the first variable here. If you want, you can write fxy, no problem. Okay, you can write the same thing, fxy dy dx, no problem. So in that case, this will be limit of y and this will be limit of x. So x from minus infinity to x and y from minus infinity to y. So just because these are x and y, therefore we have taken different variable here, w and z, otherwise they are limits of x only. So these you can see that this AC maintenance. So let us see this, what is the problem. So problem is a company that services air conditioner units in residences and office blocks is interested in how to schedule its technicians in the most efficient manner. Okay. Specifically, the company is interested in how long a technician takes on a visit to a particular location. And the company recognizes that this mainly depends on the number of air conditioner units at the location that need to be serviced. This is very common. Okay, if there are less number of conditioner ACs to be serviced, a company expect that lesser time will be taken. Okay, so if the random variable x taking the values 1, 2, 3, and 4, means these are times, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, and 4 hours is the service time in hours and particular location, and the random variable y taking the values 1, 2, and 3 is the number of air conditioner units at the location, then these two random variables can be thought of as a jointly distributed. Okay, so suppose that their joint probability mass function PIG is given in the following table. Okay, so this table is, suppose we know this. So this is a valid probability mass function. You can prove that all the sum of all these numbers is equal to 1. Okay, and also you can see that all these numbers are greater than or equal to 0. So this is valid probability mass function. Okay. Now, how to find joint cumulative distribution function? So we have just seen this definition. Okay. So with the help of this, we can find. So this table is constructed from this one. Now, for example, if you want to construct here, say this is a 1, this is 2, say 3, this is 1, 2, 3. Now, if you want to find F11, so F11 is this position, so no problem, it will be 0.12. You know that the first element in the CDF column is the first frequency only. Okay. Now here in this cell, what will be the number? Number will be this 2. So this will be 0.20. Here all the 3, 0.27, like this. Now here if you want to find, then in this case all these numbers will be added, this and this part. So this will be, so you can, so 4 plus 2, there are 6 numbers you have to add here to get this number here. Okay, so this will come here. So in this way, this table is constructed. You can see that 0.12, 0.20, 0.
Sir, why those 6 values? It should be always be a square. It should be a like kind of rectangle or square only, no? So why 6 values you took upstairs? Up here. Yeah, up in this. Why 6 values? It will come 0.12, 0.08, 0.08, and 0.15.
Achha, this is just 2.
Yeah, 2.
Just 2. So not 6 values, in fact 4 values.
So then this is what, sir? 6 value is what? 4, 2.
These 6 values, I don't think it will fit into any
yeah, that's why, no?
criteria.
So either it should be a rectangle or it should be a square, that's all.
Yes, yes. So if this is actually single one, so first row will be sum of these numbers, means for example 0.12, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Then again this will be this 2 only here. Okay. Then here this 4, and
Yeah.
here
these 6
this
values.
6 values.
Yeah.
And here add values.
Yeah.
Okay, so it will go like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see that second row is start here with 2 values, and then again 2, so 4 values, then add this to 6 values, then add this to add values, and then the third row will start with these 3 values. Okay, so number here in CDF table will be sum of these 3. Okay, and then 3 plus 3, 6, then 9, then 12, like this. Okay. Okay. So in this way we can find this. This is example given how F22 is obtained. And then a continuous case, we have another problem. So mineral deposits. So in order to determine the economic viability of mining in a certain area, a mining company obtains samples of ore from the location, okay, and measures their zinc content and their iron content. So, okay, so in ore we have zinc content and iron content. Suppose that the random variable X is the zinc content of the ore, taking values between 0.5 and 1.5. So X takes values between 0.5 and 1.5. Okay. And that the random variable Y is the iron content of the ore, taking values between 20 and 35. Okay. So this we should remember that x takes values 0.5 to 1.5 and y takes values 20 to 35. And this is the density function. We know that their joint probability density function is given by this 39 by 400 minus 17x minus whole square by 20 and then y minus 25, 10,000. Okay. Well, of course, we know that x lies between 0.5 and 1.5 and y lies between 20. So for this PDF also, so we can check this is actually a PDF. So how? You can see that these numbers are always greater than or equal to 0. That we can check for this region actually. When x lies between 0.5 and 1.5 and y lies between 20 and 35, you can prove that this value is always greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and then again we can prove that the integral of this is equal to 1, that is total. Okay, so this integral is equal to 1. So I'm not given here the solution actually, just so we should know how to do it. Okay, so this is integral, double integral. We can do that. Okay. So for example here, randomly chosen sample of ore has a zinc content between 0.8. So if you want to find ore has zinc content between 0.8 and 1.0 and an iron content between 25 and 30. So this is actually nothing but that probability that x lies between 0.8 and 1.0 while y lies between 20 and 35. 20 and 35. So what is the probability? So probability, this will be this integral. Okay. So you just integrate within these limits the function f x y. Okay. And then you can see that you can do this. Okay. The value comes out to be 0.092. So consequently, we say that 9% of the ore at the location has mineral level within this limit. Within this limit, these are the limits. Okay. We have fixed y and x is 0.8 to 1. So only 9% of the ore. This is approximately 9%. So this is a general concept about joint probability distribution and cumulative distribution. Now let us see how to find marginal probability distribution. So this is important. Interest is focused on only one of the random variables. Then it is appropriate to consider the probability distribution of that random variable alone. Okay. So though we know the joint probability distribution, but we are if you are interested to know the distribution of one variable only, then what to do? So the thing is that this marginal probability distribution, we should know how to find. So marginal distribution of random variable x is obtained from the joint probability distribution of two variables, okay, by summing or integrating over the values of the random variable y. So this is by summing. So summing in case of discrete and integrating in case of continuous. Okay. So summing or integrating over the values of the random variable y. So here what is happening? X is fixed. Okay. So suppose in some cases, I think So suppose these are my x downward, and suppose these are y. So x is say 1, 2 like this, and here you'll have y. Okay, these values. So if you want to find px is equal to 1, if you want to find px is equal to 2, okay, in general px is equal to xi in case of discrete, and in case of continuous it will be x is equal to x. Then what we do, it says summing or integrating over the value. So all values of y for this x. So which are these values? These are. So these are all values of y for x is equal to 1. So add them. Whatever the value you get here, that will give you px is equal to 1. Similarly, all values of y for x is equal to 2, sum them, you will get this value, that will be px is equal to 2. Okay, and then this distribution will be marginal distribution. Px is equal to 1, px is equal to 2, all this. Similarly, if you want to find marginal for y, then sum all the values of x for that given y. So that is in this matrix, it will be addition of column wise. This is addition row wise. So this is a notation. In one other book, I have seen this type of notation also. Pi and then star. So in place of plus, they have used star. So pi star means I is fixed, and then you take all j's. Star means all j's. Okay. Plus means sum with respect to all j. So this is Pij, sum with respect to all j. Similarly, if you want to find p, y is equal to say yj, then it will be p plus j. Okay, so it means that sum with respect to all I. So I is equal to 1, 2, maybe n. Okay, so j is fixed here like this. So these are marginal probability distributions. And in case of continuous, okay, so this is in case of discrete. And in case of continuous, so continuous case, what we have? We have PDF fxy. And what we want p, say y is equal to, or say x is equal to xi. Sorry, x is equal to x. So if you want x is equal to x, then what you have to do? You just generalize this. If you want to find x is equal to xi, what we do? We sum with respect to j. Okay. So here integrate with respect to j. J means y variable. So integrate with respect to y. Fxy dy, and for all. So for all means this is lower limit and this is upper limit. Okay, minus infinity and plus infinity means lower and upper limit. So whatever the value given in the problem, that we have to take here. For example, in the last case, we have a lower limit y is equal to 20 and upper limit y is equal to 35. That mining problem. Okay, ore problem. So again, we see these two problems, AC maintenance and mineral problem. So here, as I said, you can see that how these marginal distributions are obtained. So here, x is top and this y is a side. Okay. So below x, If you add column wise, these are marginal distribution of x, these numbers. So these are added column wise. Okay, and then marginal distribution of y row wise. So these numbers. Okay, and you can see that always this sum will be equal to 1. So this total sum is equal to 1. Sum of all these numbers will be equal to 1 because this is PDF. So this is one thing, marginal. So Px is equal to 1. So this Px is equal to 1 means P and x is equal to 1 plus. Okay, this is noted. So plus means add with respect to j. So j takes value 1 is equal to 1 to 3. Sorry, yes, j takes value 1 to 3. Okay, so this way. Now expected service time. So we know that this Ex is equal to summation x Px. Okay, so we can use this here. This x is equal to takes values 1 to 4. X is I and Px is equal to I. All right. So this is actually, you can see the table. IPI. So this is 1, x is equal to 1, and Px is equal to 1 is 0.21. So you just multiply these two, plus 2 into 0.24, plus 3 into 0.3, plus 4 into 0.25. So that will be equal to this one. No, not this one. This is P is equal to 1. I am talking about expectation. This one. Okay, 2.5. Because here we are multiplying I with probability x is equal to I. And similarly, if you want to find x square, then the definition is E x square, that is second moment, that is equal to summation x square Px. Okay, so this one. So this comes out to be 7.1. And once you know these two numbers, and then we can find variance and standard deviation, because this variance is equal to E of x square minus E of x whole square. Okay, so we can find the variance. So variance we can find. Variance is known, we can find standard deviation, that's all. Okay, so this is discrete. Now we will generalize this concept for continuous random variable for the second problem. Okay. Okay. So this is fx is equal to x. So this is general result actually. We know that x lies between 0.5 and 1.5. Okay, 0.5 and 1.5. So suppose if you want to find the value at x is equal to 1, then you just substitute this x is equal to 1, this x is equal to 1. So this will be 0 and the value will be 57/40. Okay, if you want to find the value at 0.5, just put x is equal to 0.5 here. Okay, so as we have seen there, that marginal for x is equal to, this is minus infinity to plus infinity fxy dy. So integrate with respect to y from lower limit to upper limit. And now lower limit is 20, upper limit is 35. You just integrate. If you integrate, you will get this value. And then you can calculate this value for any x. This is general reality. Okay. So this is shown in the figure. You can see that this is because it is square in x, it will be a parabola. Okay. So this is the graph of this function y is equal to 57 by 40 minus 51 by 10 x minus 1 whole square. So that is there. And what, well, we can calculate Ex is equal to, so symmetric about the point x is equal to 1. Okay. So since it is symmetric, you can see that the mean is this value, because about x is equal to 1, this line is symmetric, the graph is symmetric. So mean value will be x is equal to 1. Okay, x is equal to 1 is the expected or mean value, and therefore any probability term, mean value is denoted by mu x or Ex. Okay, so Ex is equal to 1. And then we can find variance using this formula, Ex minus Ex whole square. Okay, so this Ex whole square will be equal to the integral, this is 0.5 to 1.5 variance of x. Okay, and then this is okay, E of x minus Ex whole square. No, so this will be okay, this fxy will be there, and this square x minus 1, because Ex is 1, x minus Ex is x minus 1 whole square fxy. So, but then how it will come out to be 0.55. Because expectation of x minus Ex whole square. So by definition of expectation, this is okay. You have to take double integral, not single integral. Okay, this is a function of x, y, no? So we have to take double integral. So this is dx and then dy, and then y will be 20 to 35. So this is the region. So therefore we are getting constant value. No? Okay. So because this is x minus Ex, so Ex is 1, so x minus 1 whole square, and then PDF. And because it is function of xy, double integral will be there. All right. So once variance is known, we can find a standard deviation. Okay. So if you know marginal, then with the help of marginal. So this is now in terms of x only, because this fx is equal to x is marginal probability distribution of x. Okay. So now it is single integral. So 0.8 to 10. This we have already calculated somewhere. But that was in terms of y actually, because x lies between this and for general y. Okay, maybe. So if you want to find the probability that zinc content lies between 0.8 and 1, you can calculate this with the help of PDF. Not PDF, CDF. Oh, sorry, marginal distribution function. This is marginal. So this is 2714, and therefore 20% of our has zinc content within these limits. X is equal to 0.8, 1.0. but I will see this. Actually, we have got a different value, but conditions were different there actually. If someone is thinking about that, we have got different values before this 9%. So zinc content, okay. So here we have fixed y also, y lies between 25 and 30. So I will see this problem actually. This I think this two statement looks contradictory. Okay, here we are saying consequently only about 9% of the ore at the location has mineral level within these limits. Okay, and there we are saying 27%. So I'll just see this. So meanwhile, let us move forward. So conditional probability distribution. Now conditional we have seen, if you remember, that this is the picture there actually. So we have sample space and we have then two. Suppose this is my condition B and this is A, this is sample space. Then what we have? Probability of A subjected to B is equal to PA intersection B upon PB. Okay, so that condition comes in the denominator because it now becomes sample space. So exactly we will do the same, or rather you'll see that you will get the same type of formula here for joint probability distribution. So what we are going to do, if two discrete random variables x and y are jointly distributed, then the conditional distribution of random variable x. So conditional distribution of random variable x, say x is equal to x, subjected to y is equal to yj. So this is my condition. So this you can think of B, this is A, x is equal to x, or maybe x is equal to xi. Okay, x is equal to xi, y is equal to yj. So what should be the result? Result will be PA intersection B. So PA intersection B, here we write x is equal to xi and y is equal to yj. So this is actually the A intersection B numerator, and then denominator, this conditions probability come. That is P y is equal to yj. All right. So this is the conditional probability. This one, x is equal to xi, yj. And this x is equal to xi, y is equal to yj, denoted by Pij. And y is equal to yj, this is what? Marginal distribution. So this is plus j, P plus j. And then if you have continuous, so in case of this is the condition, y is equal to y. So for y is equal to y, this is marginal fyy, okay, and this is fxy. So fxy is the probability of x is equal to x and y is equal to y. So this is intersection part, PA intersection B, and this is PB. So with the help of this, we can find conditional expectations and variances. And we can also see the difference between marginal and conditional. So marginal what? Marginal distribution for x is the appropriate distribution for the random variable of x when nothing is known about the random variable y. So there is no condition on y actually. Okay. And therefore we include all the y. In contrast, conditional distribution for x is there is condition on y. Okay, conditional on y. So when the random variable y is known to take the value y. So this basic difference between this, there is no condition on y in marginal. Conditional, definitely there is conditional on y. So again, you come to this problem, AC maintenance. So what we have seen here, we have seen conditional. So let us try to find conditional probabilities for this problem. Okay. And suppose if we want to find this, so this is the condition actually imposed here, y is equal to 3. So definitely py is equal to 3 is required, and therefore it is calculated before. Okay. So py is equal to 3 is p plus 3. Okay. And then you all add, so we get 0.11. This is for from the CDF, not marginal table. Y is equal to 3 is marginal. Now, if you want to find p x is equal to 1, y is equal to 3, x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3. So x is equal to 1, y is equal to 3 will be, you can see that Pij, it is Pij here, Pij upon p plus j. So this is condition. So Pij, p1 3, p plus 3. Then p2, x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3. This will be p2 3, p plus 3. Then x is equal to 3, y is equal to 3. This will be p3 3, and then 4 3 plus 3. Okay. So in this way, you can calculate. We can calculate the conditional probabilities.
Sir, in this also P33 will be the only cell value or the complete square addition for the P33 will be complete.
It is cell value only.
Only cell value.
Yeah. Because fixed, no, x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 3.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Because this is a in numerator is set theoretical term, it is A intersection B, and denominator is conditional probability PB. So this is A intersection B means A and B both. So here x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 3 both, and therefore this is the just cell value P33.
Sure, sir.
So this thing you can see, conditioning on a location having 3 air conditioner in it increases the chances of large service time being required. So then you can see that. Okay. So what we have y is equal to 3. Y is equal to 3 means this is number of AC. So there are 3 AC in the location, at that location. Now x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2 are times 1 hour. So 1 hour maintaining 3 AC, the probability is less. In the same way, if you see these things, 3 hours 3 AC, naturally this probability must be greater than the previous one. And this 4, y is equal to 3. So this may be much more. Okay. So conditional expectation of the service time. So if you want to find expected value for given condition, y is equal to 3. Okay. So y is equal to 3 will be fixed. Otherwise, if there is no condition, then the value is we have seen simply I P X is equal to I. Okay, this one. But if the condition is put here, then this condition will reflect here also in case of probability. That's all. So this interpretation you can read. Now mineral deposit case also you can find. Suppose we have put condition x is equal to 0.55. Okay. Now what is x? X is constant percentage of or zinc content actually in the ore. So y is equal to y, x is equal to 0.5. So this is again numerator is both. So probability of both, probability of x is equal to 0.55 and y is equal to y. Upon denominator will be probability of x is equal to 0.5. This is the condition. Now, this condition can be Px is equal to 0.55. This is marginal actually. So marginal at this notation, Fx. And this is a 0.55y. So this is Fxy. X is fixed 0.55. So this is F 0.55 and y. So this Fx 0.55 we can calculate because this polynomial or this function we have already calculated in the previous section. Okay, so Py is equal to y, x is equal to 0.55. This function we get, and then you can put any value of y to get the numerical value corresponding to that y. Okay. If you take y is equal to 20, you will get some value, 35, you will get some value like that. Okay. So these are geometrically it is given here. So now come independence and covariance. So two random variables as usual x and y are defined to be independent if their joint probability mass function or joint probability density function. Okay, mass function in case of discrete and density in case of continuous is the product of their two marginal distributions. Okay, so two marginal distribution. Now in case of discrete, what happens? So in case of discrete, what it says? Probability mass function. So probability mass function is like this. P x is equal to xi and y is equal to yj. This must be equal to two marginal distribution. So two marginals are x is equal to xi into py is equal to yj. Okay, this is discrete case. Notations are discrete, and similarly in case of continuous. So in case of continuous, this is my fxy. Now this fxy is actually p x is equal to x, y is equal to y is fxy. So this fxy must be equal to, if it is equal to product of two marginal. So two marginal is fxx into fy y. Then the random variables x and y are said to be independent. So if the random variables are discrete, so I've written this actually exactly this in terms of Pij, we have Pi plus P plus J. And in case of continuous, fxy will be equal to fxx, fyy. So random variables x and y are independent, then their conditional distributions are identical to their marginal distributions. So this you can see, simple one. So this is conditional probability actually. So these notations are important, no? This line means conditional. And if it is common, then this is intersection. So this is conditional probability. So what it says, conditional probability will be if independent, if both x and y are independent, there is then no role to play. This condition has no role to play actually. This probability must be equal to P x is equal to xi. That is the meaning. Okay, and then we can prove that. So this probability is equal to Pij, P plus J, and because x and y are independent, this Pij can be written as product of their marginals. So Pi plus P plus J, and then this P plus J get cancelled from numerator and denominator, so we get only Pi plus. And similarly in case of continuous. So y does not influence the distribution of the random variable x and vice versa. When this is only if x and y are independent. All right. So this is simple example. If xy is equal to 6xy square. Okay. So this when x lies between 0 and 1 and y lies between 0 and 1. And the value of this function is 0. Otherwise, okay. So this is in this domain, and otherwise it is 0. So we can prove that this fxy is equal to fxx and fyy. And this is very simple. You can just see. So this fxx, this is equal to integral of fxy. We must integrate with respect to y, and limit of y is 0 to 1. So you can see that 0 to 1, 6xy square dy. So 6x will be treated as constant here because we are integrating with respect to y. And then this become y cubed by 3. And if you take the limit, it become 1 by 3. So what we get then? 2x. Okay. And similarly, you can check fyy is equal to 0 to 1 again. F dx. It is f dy, it will be f dx. And if you integrate this with respect to x, so this will be 6y square 1 by 2. X square by 2 has value 1 by 2. So this is 3y square. Now you can see that if you multiply these two, so these are two values, 2x and 3y square. This is equal to 6x y square, and therefore they are independent. So now we have covariance, and this covariance of xy denoted by this COV is defined by E of x minus ex into y minus ey. All right. Covariance of xy is defined by E of x minus ex, y minus ey. This covariance can be any positive, negative number. It may be 0 also. And we can see that this actually, this, if you expand it, finally we get this exy minus ex into ey. So what you do, you just expand this, take the product x minus ex, y minus ey, and then apply e. Finally, we get exy is equal to, exy minus exey. All right. And therefore, the next result says, if x and y are independent, x and y are independent, then we have exy is equal to ex into ey. Okay. And from there, the value becomes 0. So independent random variables have covariance of 0. So again, in this AC maintenance problem, we can see some results of this section, that is whether x and y are independent or not, and what are their covariance values that we can see. So expected service time is Ex is equal to 2.59 hours and Ey is equal to 1.79 hours. So how to find them? We have to find somewhere there. Okay, this Ex, we know that summation x Px is equal to x. Okay, and so this is actually Px is equal to Ex with the help of marginal. This is marginal. Px is equal to x means this is marginal. So we have marginal probability distribution there and value of x. So x is equal to 1 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So 1 into plus 2 into plus 3 into. So this way we can find these expectations Ex and Ey. And then Exy is equal to, so this Exy, general result is double summation xy Px is equal to x, y is equal to y. Okay, so that is actually denoted by Pij. This is x value, this is y value. So y value is 1 to 3, j value, I value or x value is 1 to 4. So if you use this, these numbers are there in the matrix or table. Okay, you'll get 4.86. So we have obtained Exy, we have Exey, and therefore we can calculate covariance. Covariance is Exy minus Ex into Ey. So that is 0.224. So as expected, the service time and the number of units serviced are not independent. This makes sense because there is a tendency for locations with a large number of air conditioner units to require relatively long service times. So there is dependency, time and number of AC. Then let us see this last problem for today. Okay. So what it says, we have three random variables defined here, and there is a coin, fair coin, tossed 3 times, so that there are 8 equally likely outcomes. Everybody knows. Okay, if you toss a fair coin 3 times, there are 8 equally likely outcomes, and that the random variable x is the number of heads obtained in the first and second tosses. Okay, so random variable x is the number of heads.
Sir, if you toss a coin 3 times, then
Yeah.
only 3 outcomes will come. No, how, right?
No, the third may be head or tail. No, we are not concerned with the third.
Okay, then 6 will come. Then how, 8? 6 should come then.
No, no, no.
For each.
No, the first you see there are 8 equally likely outcomes. Agree? If you toss, actually first 2 possibilities, second 2 possibilities, third 2 possibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is
Thank you.
actually 8 possibilities.
Yeah, thank
2 into 2 into 2. Okay. So these are, you can, if you want, you can see like 1 head, 2 tail. Then THT, this is one possibility. Then TTH. So these are 3. Then let us take 2 head cases. So HHT, HTH, then THH. Okay. So the another 3. And 2 more. They are HHH and TTT. So these are 8 possibilities. Okay. Now random variable x is the number of heads obtained in the first and second tosses. And the random variable y is the number of heads obtained in the third toss. So it will have, you can see that y will have value either 0 or 1. There are 2 possibilities only for y. For x, there are 3 possibilities, 0, 1, 2. Either 0 head or 1 head or 2 heads. Okay. And then in the same manner, the third random variable z is the number of heads obtained in the second and third tosses. So again, it has 3 values, either 0 or 1 or 2. Clear? So we will see now how, whether which, this one. So this is x and y table. So joint probability distribution of random variable x and y. So here you can see that 0 head, and here also 0 head, means there is no head in all the 3 tosses. So possibility is only 1. So probability is 1 by 8. Okay. Now x has value 1. It means that there is 1 head in 2 tosses. First 2 tosses, there is 1 head. So there are 2 possibilities. Either first is head or second is head. So 2 by 8, and therefore probability is 1 by 4. Similarly, there are 2 heads. So again, if there are 2 heads and 0 head, so that the last will be tail only. Okay, so there is only 1 possibility. So again, the probability is 1 by 8. So in this way, these probabilities are calculated here, and this table is completed. So you can find marginals for x, marginal for y. Okay, you just add them, you get this. And vertically, if you add them, you will get these numbers. Okay, so we have marginals. Okay, so equal to product of 2 marginal probability. Okay, so what it says, this we have got, so that the joint probability mass function is equal to the product of two marginal probability mass function. So this we can verify from this table. How? Let us see. So what it says, joint probability mass function is equal to product of two marginal probabilities. So for example, this is one example is this one. This joint probability mass function value 1/4, and corresponding to this, the marginal is this one. Or if you take, say this, if you take 1/8, then you can see that this 1/8 is product of 1/4 and 1/2. So this is true for any. If you take this is 1/8, this is 1/4, 1/2. So product of these two is 1/8. So in general, it is true for all possibilities, and therefore x and y are independent. Okay, and this is very obvious because whether this nature of random variable, it is very clear that x and y are independent. Okay, x is not dependent on y. Okay, because x talks about first and second throw, and or rather second toss, and y talks about third toss. So naturally they are independent. There is no dependency. Okay, but if you same manner, if you analyze this x and z, so again these probabilities are calculated in that way, and then we have marginals for z and marginals for x. Okay, and here you can see that this is not independent. Okay, you can find many examples. For example, this one, if you take 1/8, this is 1/4, this is 1/4, so not equal. Okay, and therefore not independent, which is a very natural, because what x talks about first and second, and z talks about second and third. Okay, so x is first and second toss, and z is second and third toss. Okay, so naturally they are not independent. So all these things are given here, I think. So these probabilities, these are marginals. Pz is equal to 0, Px is equal to 0. So you can see that. And Px is equal to 0, Z is equal to 0. Three probabilities we have taken here. This value is 1/8, and this is 1/4, 1/4. And you can see that 1/8 is not equal to 1/4 into 1/4. That is this one, and therefore they are not independent. So similarly, you can find expectation of x and y. We can find exy, and then we can find covariance. So here we get 0, and which is obvious because x and y are independent, so this value must be 0. Covariance xy must be 0 because x and y are independent. Okay, so I think I should stop now. This we will see next time. Functions and combinations of random variables. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.